My name's Vicky Thompson and I'm Chief Executive of Everyone, and we're a Lincolnshire-based charity that supports carers and the people they care for through person-centred approaches. And we do a lot of work around personalisation, and co-production is one of our key areas of work. And I have the joy of being the facilitator for the Macmillan Cancer Co-production Group in Lincolnshire.
So the Living with Cancer programme in Lincolnshire is taking quite a new approach to implementing personalised care for people living with cancer. When we started the programme back in 2016, we looked at what were the outcomes that we'd like to achieve at the end of the programme. And one of those very, very first 11 outcomes was that the programme was co-produced with people living with cancer, because we believe that they're the most important people. They're the people that know what the current experience is like. And without those people, we can't possibly begin to meet their needs.
For me, the biggest challenge is just making sure that when you have a group of people together that have all had lived experience, but although their experiences are very different and very unique to them, that people are coming together with the right agenda and making sure that they want to come together to make a really positive change.
I wouldn't say that there have been any huge challenges. I think because co-production is generally quite a new concept, certainly within Lincolnshire. So we had no expectations. All that we knew is that we wanted people with lived experience right at the heart of the programme.
I finished active treatment for breast cancer 3 years ago and realised that life was never going to be the same again. It was never going back to normal. So I thought I'd just embrace it and get together with a group of like-minded people to ensure that my lived experience had some use.
I felt that I got to a point that I wanted to give something back around my experience and hopefully help other people going through similar situations, really.
I think that patients and carers should be equal partners in all aspects of their pathways. So I felt my experience could have been better, and I wanted to do something to change that for patients in future. Co-production sounded perfect for that.
I just hope that to be in a position where I may be able to influence the care of future cancer patients. I'm not medically trained, but I have a voice of experience, I hope, and hopefully an understanding of other people's situations.
Having an opportunity to have a face-to-face conversation with people that have had lived experience with cancer, and to see by the stories that they tell, the impact that they have on either myself or other colleagues. And I think that's really quite profound and really does make you want to do a much better job.
We helped to design a script for nurses to use for when they first contacted the patient. Just wanted to make sure that all the information that they were given was consistent so that everybody was receiving the same thing.
We took on board the holistic needs assessment leaflets, which was being done essentially by the doctors, and they had very little time to do that.
Everybody sits in the room and they're treated equally. They're all listening and respectful of each other, and together we build something.
One of the things that I'm very impressed with is around the cancer care reviews. I think they're a really important aspect of that person's journey, and I think it's about really focusing on that individual and what's the right time for that individual.
I think it's been proving to the many people that we've come into contact with that have come in and spoken to us and wanted us to be involved. It's how important our lived experience is when making decisions about the care that they're delivering.
Well, I've joined during COVID-19, and obviously the restrictions that's had meant that I didn't meet people until just a couple of weeks ago at the last cancer co-production group in person.
I think the biggest challenge has been COVID. If it hadn't been for our excellent facilitator, the group may not have been able to continue. but we did with virtual meetings. It's not been the same, but we still have kept going and we've been moving forward.
The biggest challenge has been keep on trying to make the point that those rarer cancers need to be considered as well.
The biggest challenge has been to stop people eating the cakes when we met face to face.
I think the most rewarding part is the enthusiasm of the group, working together on whatever project was put before us and to try and make a difference for those that follow.
It's quite a humbling experience. I think that is for me the most rewarding thing. It's because it's so humbling and you get to spend time with people who really want to do something positive and proactive.
Although my cancer diagnosis was obviously not what I'd planned in life, it's ultimately led me to being part of this positive and forward-thinking group, something I might never have experienced otherwise.
Feeling very proud that a rural community can come together, because we've had people come from quite long distances away and we would never know each other apart from the fact that we've come together from co-production.
People with different cancers as well, so have had different experiences, maybe used different services. And I think just that wealth of knowledge and experience and coming together and really sort of valuing what others can bring to that.
I think it's just knowing that we're contributing to positive change for cancer patients in Lincolnshire.
So actually working with people with lived experience has been a privilege, really, because it's made us really get back to what is important.
I think personally co-production is the only way forward. For me, there is no greater opportunity to give other people a voice and to talk about it. Empowers them, but also it gives them the opportunity to really feel like they've made a change, and actually for the system to take all of that on board and listen to what's really important to people.
I think it's going to involve a complete shift in the way service providers make decisions about the provision of healthcare. But the more people with lived experience that are involved, the more influence they'll have in achieving those positive outcomes.
I think it's always the first thing that I think about now is whether or not the piece of work that I'm doing is something that I can take to co-production. I don't think there's anything that I ever start now without first of all thinking, is that something that I can take to the group? And if it is something that I can take to the group, how can we use their experience to make it even better than what I hope it will be without them?
I think I'd just like to say thank you to each and every one of our co-production group, because they're giving their time to us to make things better for other people in the future who may have a cancer diagnosis.